Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Virgil Wood. I like to think of myself as Grandpa Three to the children of the world. And I'm delighted that Brother Joseph Tasby and we've been working together for many, many years,
Yes.
particularly in education and community development work. And first of all, I want to kind of share a little framework with you. And then I'm going to ask Brother Joe to pick up, we'll talk together about this whole thing that we're going through in our country and around the world. Nobody needs to be reminded that we are in dire straits as a civilization, world civilization. And what we want to focus on today is under what conditions could school become cool once more? School, cool again. Cool,
Yeah.
school, cool again. And we think that we can start with the discussion of why calling the pandemic and what we expect out of the pandemic herd immunity. When I first heard that, I was troubled in my spirit to think that you could tell people that we had something called herd immunity. I grew up on a farm. We used to herd the animals. You don't herd people. And it's no wonder that so many people are skeptical about this. We want them to understand that there's something we could call jubilation vaccination. What is jubilation? Jubilation is joyful stuff. So we're going to celebrate before you do the vaccination, then go do the vaccination. In other words, celebrate the victory of a new life that will continue beyond the vaccination. Celebrate, then go get the vaccination. And in terms of how schools can be cool again, Brother Joe, if
Yes.
you were, you're now retired, but if you were still in the school setting and you're thinking about the children, and then you're thinking about what the parents might be going through, and then think about what you as a person who would be with the children under these circumstances, how would you feel about this whole idea of schools becoming cool and jubilation vaccination?
I think that would be a real goal to shoot for, because right now we're under what? Fear.
Yes.
We're under a dispossessed climate as far as clear thinking goes.
Yes.
People are knocking down the science. So what we have is really a jumble of parents considering bringing their children back to school. And so the indecision, the isolation of facts, and then district-wide and countrywide schools, districts don't really know what they want to do. Right. So as a parent and as a teacher, I look at how the students feel, and we have to try and put ourselves where the children are.
Yes.
Not in our minds, but also where they are thinking and what they're thinking in their heads about their own susceptibility to this thing.
Now, Joe, let me have us move this to another level, right? I like that very much. It's what the children must be feeling, the terror they must feel. I say that the truth is what people would get from grandma, usually. Grandma, I say, just ask grandma about what I'm going to say now. I'm going to say that when we understand that every human being is kin to it, we are kinfolk. Every last human being is kinfolks to one another. Yes. I don't care what your color is. I don't care what age you are. Every human being is kinfolks to one another. So Martin Luther King talked about global jubilee, world house family. He talked about that world house. Think of your house as part of the world house. Parents, teachers, all of y'all, adults, think of your house as one of the houses, one of the stops in the world house family group. I would invoke a scripture here that I like very much that helps me to understand that. That's why I understand that every president who's ever lived is my brother. That every person, whether it's a friend or an enemy, I don't have permanent enemies. I don't have permanent friends. I have permanent interests. And the permanent interest is how can we all make it together? And when we come to this, what we are calling jubilation, vaccination. Okay, that's the desperation thing. You got to believe that this is going to be good for all of us, and then go do it. That's the vaccination. But then the next part is what I like to call a tambo. In the scriptures, we have a prayer that Jesus prays. It is to his Father before he left us. He said, Father, that all may be one, even as we are one. That's the oneness of the kinship. We're all kinfolks. So the tambo is that all may be one. That's John 17:21. The people read that and later on, but that's about the truth of this thing. Now, somebody said that a lie will make its way around the whole world while the truth is just tying up its shoes. Well, I want us to think, Brother Joe, what does it mean? Because truth now has its shoes on and tied up and ready to sprint. The truth, when the truth is allowed to sprint, then people will have confidence that we can get to the end all together without the loss of one. We call that no more too soon gone. What do you think, Brother Joe?
Well, what's key in what you're saying, Doc, is we have to reestablish the understanding, like you said, that we're all humanity. And once we can look at that again, we will stop ostracizing one another and stop hating one another and look at the understanding that we all, like you said, all are one. We're all human. And with that, we can begin to say, okay, my child and your child got to go to school together. How can we ensure not just that they don't carry this COVID and give it to someone else, but also that how do we begin to fortify self-discipline, anti-bullying, self-esteem? How do we begin to reestablish that so that each child and each teacher can begin to feel more empowered in their teaching?
Right. Now here's what I want you to do, Brother Joe, because we're established, it's an organization, you and I have been a part of this, Joe, since 1971. People don't realize how long it takes sometimes to get this whole thing right. And now, because we've stuck with it, we have about 20 partners on the male side and about 20 partners on the female side, where we're getting ourselves immersed in this thing called the Jubilee. We're moving towards the Jubilee Covenant. The Jubilee Covenant is what we're talking about, so that every Thursday night, people will be able to come online with us and share with one of our people. We call it teach-in. On Saturdays at high noon, families can come together and discuss what we've heard. And then Sundays at Vesper time, they can get that inspiration that allows them to go to Monday morning when they got to face the economy, the demands of the economy, which brings us to the third point, which I want to call, we talk about love. The King talked about the love. Malcolm talked about the power, and A.G. Gaston said, we've been running around talking about black power and white power. He said, neither is what we really need. We don't need black power. We don't need white power. We need green power.
Yeah.
Green power is a justice issue. So you got love as a beloved community. You got power as the energy. And then you got justice as a culmination of all of that, so that you have an economy that nobody is left out.
Yes.
And when we feel our kinship to one another, I don't care how rich you are, how poor you are, you don't have to worry about going to bed hungry at night or sleeping under a bridge. And it brings us to our current work, Brother Joe, that we're launching right now. And as we look to what we must do right now, it's our children and our old folks that we got to think about, the very young and the very old. I like to ask parents and teachers and all of them, ask the children for Grandpa, why is God smiling? And once we hear from the children, we'll go and do what's right. What do you think, Brother Joe?
I think that's true, Doc, because once we can establish an ongoing working forum where that we can have this two-way conversation in depth,
yes,
then we can begin to see, okay, it's not about race anymore.
That's
it's
right.
not about who has the most money anymore.
Class, that's right.
All children should be educated in a level on a level playing field.
Right.
And parents, teachers, administrators, people in states all across this country and state houses have to, like you say, deal with the truth of history.
Yes.
To determine where we go in the future with education, with economics, and how we make that marriage so that families can begin to learn to work again.
That's right. Thank you. I hate to cut across. I want us to kind of wrap this up now, because I want people to know that they'll have an opportunity at one of the Thursday night sessions to actually talk with you, ask you questions, because they'll be able to go to our website, belovedcommunityinstitute.org. I invite people to go to our website, and they will be able to hear from an awful lot of experts and authorities on these different aspects of the work we've got to do, so that when we come on a Thursday night, on a Saturday or a Sunday, people are interacting with our partners. And how do we get this done? We understand why you got to do it. But if you don't know how to do it, then why becomes a pipe dream. And so I want us to appreciate where this allows us now to take a hold of this pandemic thing. And we're going to learn that there were people who were able to overcome COVID before there were serums, vaccinations. They got something to share with us.
That's right.
One of our partners is one of those people, Brother Ramsey Cooper, who overcame COVID before there were vaccinations. And there's something that we have to offer now that go along with the serum, the vaccination. There's another kind of vaccination that we want to introduce now, and that's where the pharmacy of God, the pharmacy of God is what Jesus talked about, healing the brokenhearted. America is a brokenhearted nation, and our president has very wisely said we must heal the brokenhearted soul of our country. And when we get it right, countries around the world will also get it right. And I pray that it'll be South Africa next and so many others. But anyway, I want to thank you, Brother Joe, and people will be able to interact with you in subsequent sessions. And they will also hear from one of our other colleagues in a subsequent tape, Dr. Ryan Hobart, who will help us understand about how time and place interact, chronology and kairos and chronos, time and eternity. And we'll look forward to it. Thank you so much, Brother Joe, my dear friend.
God bless.